everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's ItzMariaVicz, and for today, as well promised since the beginning of the year, I will be doing a mid-year checking for my 2025 goals. This video specifically is of course for my interpersonal, my health, and my social goals, because this is my personal channel. If you guys are interested in beginning of the year, like the way that I set up my goals and stuff, feel free to check out this. No, it's on this side. Feel free to check out this video. I originally posted this, I think it was January or February of 2025, depending on how I was able to like organize myself and whatever. But these are the goals that I originally had posted in 2025 at the beginning of the year, in order for you guys to be aware of my goals and stuff, what my plans were and such. Sorry, I'm just like shedding. So I'm just taking this hair off of me, putting it somewhere. I will sweep later, don't worry. I like sweep like 3 times a day and there's still hair everywhere. But anyways, yeah, what's good guys? I'm looking forward to making this video to kind of see how my goals what the alignment of my goals will be moving forward, now that I'm checking in with my goals originally for the year, midway through the year. If you guys weren't aware, I do have a money related channel. I'm not a financial professional of any sort or a licensed individual to give any type of money advice, but I did start at the beginning of the year a new channel that's all like money related. I mainly do like cash budgeting things over there and just talk about like different hurdles that I'm facing and such. But if you guys happen to be interested, I did talk about my 2025 financial goals and like just money related things, not necessarily just like money, like as in like, oh, let me pay off this amount of debt and let me make this amount of money this year. It also had to do with some like money movements and stuff, such as moving things towards a better account or like invest more in this and that, etc. There's that as well. If you guys do want to see whatever that is, feel free to stay tuned for that video somewhere here. I'm not sure if I'm going to be posting it around the same time or whatever. I'll just post my actual channel over here if you guys want to go and subscribe to it. It would really make me happy and it would help support the channel a lot. Thanks in advance to everybody who does choose to go over there and subscribe. But let's get going with this video. Before I get started, as always, if you guys are new to the channel, thank you so much for tuning in. I don't know how you stumbled upon me, but hey, by the grace of God, you are watching me and hopefully you come out with something positive at the end of the video. If you do want to stick around and watch me grow as I, you know, flourish in this channel or whatever it is, or if you want to just continue watching me support the videos just because you have nothing else better to do on a Wednesday afternoon, feel free to, you know, just stick around as well. You can do so by clicking on the button down below where you can subscribe. If you turn it from red to white, it'll not only make me happy, but it'll help the channel grow. If you guys are looking forward to the video, make sure to give me a big thumbs up ahead of time, like the video and share it with your friend or your family members if you think that they would like it. And thanks for the accountability. I did this video at the beginning of the year and this is precisely why I did it, to look at my goals, keep accountable, because even though some things may not have been going my way in the first 6 months or 7 months of the year by the time that this gets posted, nonetheless I do want accountability in this community. And so let's say that one of my goals I don't exactly reach, hopefully in the next 6 months I can reach it, and if not, that's okay. At least I'm being accountable to the fact that I set my goal, I didn't succeed in it, but that's okay. We keep moving forward. Try better next year. What else can we really do? And so yeah, with that being said, let's get on to the video, and I hope that you guys like it. So to get started with my 2025 goals, again for my interpersonal, my health, and my socializing goals, I won't be going into full explanations in this video for the mid-year check-in because this is just a mid-year checking and modifying the goals as need be. But if you guys do want to see all the details and the reasons as to why I set these goals in the beginning of the year, feel free to watch the video that I mentioned earlier. So yeah, let's just get started. First area that I will be talking about is my weight and my health goals. At the beginning of the year, I wrote down that I wanted to lose 10 pounds, and so far I have not lost pounds. I've actually net gained. So at the beginning of the year, well, I'm not gonna exactly share my numbers. I don't really think that there's a need to, and sorry that I'm looking down, I'm just looking at my agenda, and so I'm actually not gonna mention the numbers, not because there's anything bad in the numbers that I'm gonna show, but to be honest, it's not relevant whether I'm 120 pounds, 220 pounds, or 320 pounds. Sometimes it's just the journey that matters. It's not about the numbers, and the numbers are specific to you. And so you could be my height and still be struggling to lose weight, even though you are like 50 pounds lighter than me, 50 pounds heavier than me, and so things are different for everybody. So I'm actually not gonna say the number, but at the beginning of the year, I did want to lose 10 pounds by the time that this year finishes. 10 pounds would equate to less than a pound a month, to be honest, and so I'm not super happy to say that I haven't lost pounds. I've net gained, like I said, but the lowest I've been this year is roughly 3.2 pounds lighter than when I started at the beginning of the year. So I was on track. I keep going up and down and up and down, but the thing is that I don't have a stable like workout routine, and also when it comes to health, a lot of it has to do with your nutrition, and sadly enough I don't like cooking, and so for me to really like be on point with what I need to eat and such, I feel like I need to meal plan and meal prep, and I don't like doing that, not only because there's different aspects of health that come to like how the family also contributes to that, whether it's buying less unhealthy snacks or cooking more good meals for everybody, not just myself. But anyways, it's just a little bit of a difficult situation, not victimizing myself or anything, but it's just something that I need to like really hone in on and like really focus and dedicate myself, whether everybody in this house does choose to support me or not. It's also really difficult because as a mom, I'm just constantly tired, and sometimes I don't want to grab carrots for a snack. I want to grab like a chocolate bar or whatever, because not only am I tired tired and fatigued from different things or whatever in my life, but I also don't want to just give myself apple or something like that because it's the healthier option. I also want to get a little bit of, you know, happiness out of my snack choice. And so sadly enough, usually I'm a sweet tooth gal, and so I go for like little chocolate bars or whatever, which are the healthier version. Like I do choose like chocolate granola bars or whatever, and like I'm eating like Snickers or something, but nonetheless there's healthier options and sometimes I don't choose them. So the lowest I was, but like I said, was 3.2 pounds less than my beginning of the year weight. And then the other goal was to drop 3% body fat. And so I took a look at my Renpho app, and Renpho is, I'm not sponsored or anything, but Renpho is an app that does connect to a Renpho specific scale, and they do track, you know, like your weight, your BMI, your body fat percentage, what that has to do with like your visceral versus like your muscular, skeletal weight and stuff, bone density. I like that app. I don't know how accurate it is necessarily, but because I have been using the same one for many years, I do want to say that it's a little bit more reliable and accurate versus if I were to like change the type of method that I'm using to weigh myself and get like other analytics. And so that being said, I did see that from the beginning of the year, I did start at whatever X body fat percentage, and then the lowest I was actually 1.1% less. So that's actually, I don't know how hard it is to lose body fat necessarily. I know obviously you cannot target these numbers, and it's not like I realistically have ever lost like 40 pounds in a year or in my lifetime in general, so I can't necessarily say how easy it is to lose 3%. And it also depends on your body weight. If I'm like 250 pounds with, let's say, like 50% body fat percentage, it's way easier for me in theory to lose body fat than somebody who is 120 pounds and only like 10% body fat. Realistically speaking, I just don't know how fast one can lose that, and I haven't researched into it. And so yeah, but that being said, the lowest I've been was 1.1% less than my original body fat percentage of the year. However, in this current moment from the last weigh-in, which was a week ago, I am at a net gain, which is not necessarily indicative of what's going to be an outcome for the next part of the year. But anyways, I will say, I'm gonna just write in here, I do want to continue to aim for that 10 pounds. I really do think that's doable. It's just I need to like really put my effort into losing those 10 pounds. And then I do think that I can continue focusing on dropping the 3% body fat percentage. So I think that I'm gonna keep those as that. And that's basically it. My next goal is that I wanted to register my daughter into swimming lessons, and so that is indeed finished. I did put like a little check mark. I heavily wanted to do that. I did register her in June, and so yeah, like 6 months later, but just like finances needed to be in order and also my schedule, so that worked out nicely. I guess I said that I didn't want to get into specifics in this video, but hey, here we are talking about it. I did also mention that I wanted to register my stepson in outdoor soccer. We didn't do that, and that's just because he's not here with us this time in the summer. He went to visit back home, and so that's that. And so yeah, I don't think there's any weight or health related goals that I want to add on to here. What I will say, which I will write here, I want to continue going for my daily walks, minimum 40 minutes a day. It is really easy to go on one walk and just make that walk really long. Sometimes I go on my second walk, but it really depends on how tired I am in the afternoon, because the morning walk is a little bit easier for me, given that obviously I have a little bit more energy in the morning because I'm not as tired from like whether work or my baby or whatever it is. In the afternoon it's a little bit more like, ooh, I just want to kind of relax. And I do go outside still to play with my daughter, maybe to the park, or maybe we draw outside with like chalk or whatever it is. But to go on an actual like a second walk sometimes is a little bit difficult, and so I do get that out of the way usually in the morning. However, in the afternoon we'll see how that continues, but it does obviously, like, the more I walk, the more I can get into a rhythm of exercise and movement, and that's what will contribute to my weight loss. My apologies guys, I had to change the camera battery as usually with these videos, and so sorry if the angle changed, but I did just continue writing on here that I want to continue going on my daily walks, minimum 40 minutes a day. I did also, I think like it was in April, I did get a walking pad here in the house. I will be using that on the days that I simply don't want to get dressed to go outside, or I don't want to deal with the heat, or I want to walk but it's raining outside or whatever it is. I usually just like suck it up and I go on my walks either way, whether it's raining or not, and so I just cover my baby real well so she doesn't get sick or wet or anything like that. But when it comes to just me, and usually it is easier to like focus on even like walking as I'm like watching a instructional video for work, or like watching my trainings or whatever, or even on my meetings, instead of me just sitting, and it is better for my health. And so I'm gonna try to continue doing that and implementing walks wherever I can. Even yesterday, for example, I was watching a meeting for work and then I walked for like 10 minutes, you know what I mean? That's what I'm gonna be doing. And then I did mention on here to continue weight training 4 to 5 times a week. I'm not going to the gym currently. I don't have a gym subscription or a gym membership, and therefore what I do at home is really the movement of my day, whether put on a video and dance, I go on my walks with my baby or whatever. But with weight training, it is really important to build the muscle. So if you're a professional trainer or bodybuilder in general, I've always been confused, and I would appreciate your comments down below. If I am in a caloric deficit, technically that's what is required to lose weight. However, to build muscle, you need a caloric surplus because you're building protein, you're building your muscle, etc. like that. And that's why you need to eat more calories. But because I am in a journey to lose weight and I am in a caloric deficit. I do in general eat very healthy options for my day-to-day life, but sometimes I feel like perhaps I eat too much of the healthy things and that nonetheless is still like a surplus of calories. But anyways, I wanted to know, if you're in a caloric deficit but eating really clean, do you still build muscle if you're a fat person because you're losing fat and then perhaps building the muscle? Like, does it recompose in your body? Let me know down below, because I've always been curious about that question, whether you can only build muscle when you're in a caloric surplus, or if you're able to build muscle if you're in excess, if you're overweight and you're losing weight in general because you're eating leaner foods and you're doing exercise and stuff like that. Do you still build muscle? Please let me know down below, because that's something that's been on my mind for like many years. I want to say like over a decade, and I would just like to know, because if I need to eat more to gain the muscle, then shoot, I won't be losing weight anytime soon. Although the composition itself might change, because well, I may gain muscle in general and so I'm losing fat elsewhere or whatever. Anyways, I'm getting too deep into this, but anyways, let me know down below if you happen to know, if you're a personal trainer. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So like I said, continue weight training 4 to 5 times a week. Like I said, my daily movement is a lot of just walking and cardio. I do have some weights. I'm just looking down there. I have a barbell that has like the weights that you can detach and attach back on, and then I do have a kettlebell that you can also remove and add weights. It's honestly awesome. I got it for like 40% off at Walmart. No idea why I was discounted, because all the plates are in there. It must have been just because it was opened and like returned, but honestly it's been a lifesaver. But also my brother-in-law, also from Walmart, he got some little dumbbells here varying from I think like 3 pounds, and the heaviest is like 7.5 pounds or something. I have those like literally by my desk all the time, because even if I'm watching a meeting and I don't want to walk necessarily, I'm just over here like doing my raises. But I do want to continue doing that, and it also builds again the habit of doing something with your body. So that's basically it for my weight and health related area. I did just update my goals. Some of them are the same, but some of them I will continue to implement. I did forget to mention the completed goals that I have for this year. I did register my daughter for swimming, and then I did actually complete listening to the Bible via the Bible app. I believe it was in April. I usually mark down the dates. I don't know why I didn't do it this time around, but anyways, yay for me. I do want to listen to it again, but perhaps take notes while I'm doing it and then pray on it, etc. Like daily devotional and Bible study. So let's see how that continues. I did also want to say my random goals I haven't completed this year is to read 2 books. I did, like I said, finish listening to the Bible, but because I didn't actually like read it per se, I just finished listening to it. I didn't mark that off for that, so I do still have to read my 2 books for the year. And so yeah, just kind of wanted to say that. Moving on to my social goals. At the beginning of the year, I did mention that I want to once a week go out with friends or with my mom or with my brother or with whoever, to step away from mom and house responsibilities and like those kind of duties, and to plan these out ahead of time. I haven't been able to do that all that often just because people are busy. I do want to continue going out with someone, even if that someone is myself, once a week, whether I go out with just myself, my mom comes over to watch my children, or if I go out with my mom and my kids, or with my mom and my daughter, or if I go out with friends, or whether I go out with friends and my child if my mom cannot come over, or whether I go out with my husband. I do want to continue prioritizing making time during the week for that. And so I will just here write, instead of once a week go out with friends, modify the goal to say prioritize making plans once a week, even if it is just for yourself. Obviously the plan is not for me to just go out with myself, myself and I every single week, but to prioritize doing that at least, and therefore I'm catching up with myself, treating myself out to something, even if it's just going for a walk without my child. And it's funny because I think it was a video that I saw on Instagram, and it was so funny. It's like, who said that you can't do the things that you did before kids with your kids? You can still do them, it's just less fun. And so I feel like that's totally the thing. I love my daughter and I love spending time with her, even if it's things that are now a little bit less for me because they're good for her. Even just today we were cleaning something together. I could have cleaned that thing in like 20 seconds, but because I wanted to give her the experience of like contributing or helping out mom or whatever it was, it took like 5 minutes instead. For example, when I want to go on a walk, if she's walking the entire time with me, it can take an hour just to get to the end of the block, because that's how fascinated she is with the grass, or she finds a bug, she finds an ant, like, oh my god, hormiga, mira mami hormiga, which is fascinating to watch. And praise God that I get to witness that every single day, because how beautiful is it to see somebody's first time seeing something else, you know what I mean? And so although it is frustrating for us because we take those things for granted, it is beautiful to see. It's just sometimes mama wants to go on a walk to get her steps in, she can't do it while you're getting your steps in because you're stopping at every single blade of grass because you want to study it. And so it's beautiful to share some of these things with my daughters, just sometimes they're not as fun as by myself or as with other adults, because obviously my child is only 2 years old. I can't talk to her about the things that I would like to talk about with some people. And so I'm gonna write over here, prioritize weekly outings, even if it's just with yourself. However, with other people, I ought to plan these out ahead of time. Some of these things are backed up by my therapist. She does recommend those things to me because I do work from home. I don't even have like an office break like 3 times a week or something to be able to like socialize with other people at an office and like deal with like the commute or like somebody at the drive-thru or whatever it is if I want to get lunch or something. It is just literally me at home or around my neighborhood. I usually don't go out too far because precisely I have my baby. Sometimes it gets really tiring to do things by yourself with the kids, and so that's that. So gonna do that. And then the next area that we're gonna be focused on for my goals here is hobbies and other. So for these ones, it was mainly for things that had to do with like other areas, or maybe they didn't categorize in the same areas that I had proposed before, but they do have to do with my social. For example, here in the first goal that I have is start going to dance/Zumba 2 to 3 times a month. That one both has to do with health, because it has to do with me like getting movement in and such, but it also has to do with me making friends. That goal has not been done whatsoever. I don't necessarily know if I want to continue focusing on that goal, start going to dance and Zumba classes like 2 to 3 times a month. Not only because it's very difficult to plan things out, because I do not have a babysitter. I trust my mom dearly with my daughter, and sometimes my husband gets home late, and so I can't necessarily entrust him to be here on time when I have the Zumba class. And so that's mainly why it's been difficult. But I do want to say that with that goal in general, and even with swimming, with going to the gym that's like super close to my house and such, it is a community center, so it is a little bit more accessible to have different types of exercises and machines and just like resources and stuff, including Zumba classes. I do want to say, if time and resources align, as in my time to go to a class and the resources, aka somebody to watch the kids, aligns perfectly well as also, and I can go do a drop-in class instead of like a predetermined time slot for a class that was predetermined to register like 3 months prior or whatever it is. That's also why I haven't been doing those, because usually you have to register like 3 months in advance. If there's a drop-in that I can go to and I have somebody to watch my child, go to the wellness center and just do it. I will say that instead of my Zumba class like 2 to 3 times a month or whatever it is, I'd rather focus on my opportunities for a drop-in class. That way I'm able to do that. And the next 2 bullet points that I have here, and I hope that this video is not getting too long, get into Zoom or online classes for acting, and also get new headshots and find a background agency. So I have not at all. It's a time thing, it's a tiredness thing, and everybody will probably say like, you know, if you really like something and you want to get into it, just do it. I used to be that person, but it is really draining when you have somebody else to take care of. I used to be the kind of person that, you know, if I wanted to go to the club one night and I had to work the next day at 7 a.m, I will go to the club. I will do my little like 1.5 hour nap by the time that I get home and have to get up for work, and I will go to work, because I'm the kind of person, well, I took the terrible decision of wanting to go to the club, and I promised my friends to go to the club the night before I have an opening shift. No problem, I will do both, because it's very important for me to show up to work and be the kind of person that does not like call in sick or whatever it is because of an irresponsible decision. But I also want to go have fun with my friends, so let me be smart about how I do this, you know what I mean? That being said, it's only affecting me had I chosen to make an irresponsible decision back then. It's not just affecting me now, it's also affecting my kids. So if I get into Zoom online class at a West Coast timeline, let's say that they're hosting it at 8 p.m, that's 11 p.m here in Toronto. Let's say that the class is 1 hour, it finishes at midnight. If I go to bed at midnight, that means I'm not getting good sleep for the next day to take care of my kids, you know what I'm saying? It also affects me like energy wise, of course. I didn't get proper sleep, and therefore maybe I don't want to go on a walk that next day, etc. And with the headshots and the background agency situation, I do still want to, and I will say that here, still make efforts to find a background agency. And I actually started a page in my somewhere else in my agenda where I was going through different agencies and such, but I just didn't get to contact them. But when it comes to headshots and finding a new background agency, headshots are not inexpensive, and finding a slot during the day or during the week, like months in advance, for me to be able to get those, for me to not necessarily even be in an agency right now. My contract with Max Agency ended, so that's, you know, in the past or whatever, and so for me to get new headshots to not even be in an agency, it doesn't really make sense for me to spend that money and that effort and that, like, you know, scheduling of things to not even have an agency for the headshot. But also I think that for background agencies you don't necessarily need professional headshots, and so I need to do my research on that, and based on that I will make that decision. And that's pretty much it, guys. I did just kind of like rewrite my new prioritized goals and like my list and such, and then I also did modify some of the goals or keep them the same if they're not necessarily something that I want to change. I did just go ahead and do that. I just wrote in here in the latter half of the page, I did just write the new goals and stuff. And so let's see how the remaining 5 months of the year goes. I am filming this in mid-April, and so by the time that you guys see this, it might be the end of April, and so there's only 5 months of the year really left. And so yeah, those are the things that I wanted to kind of check in on with you guys for accountability purposes, and also just for you guys' awareness for whoever's cheering me on. That is my mid-year check-in. Today is, like I said, midway through July, and so I just wanted to give that for you guys, and we will check in again at the beginning of next year, which is 2026, or we will check in just at the last week or so of 2025. That being said, that wraps up this video, you guys. I hope that you guys really enjoyed it. If you guys do want to share some of the goals that you guys had at the beginning of the year and how that has been going for you, I hope that really you guys are are flourishing, share those successes down below. And even like if you haven't necessarily succeeded 100% in it, how are you progressing through it? How are you going through the struggles and the battles and tribulations that you're facing in these situations? How are you progressing through it, whether through prayer or continue moving forward or not paying attention to the downfalls? Because at the end of the day, you can fall 100 times as how many times you get up. Kind of like with that weight thing that I was saying at the beginning. I have gone down 3.1 or 3.2 pounds ever since the beginning of the year, but the net movement has been from the start of the year to the last time that I got weighed in, I've gone up net. And so the focus shouldn't be on the fact that like overall I've gone up, it's the fact that I'm continuously to work towards going down. And so yeah, I hope that you guys take a little tidbit of wisdom for this video. If you like this video, not only give me a big thumbs up and leave some comments down below of encouragement and positivity, but also, as mentioned, if you guys took any benefit from this video and you want to share with friends and family, I highly encourage you to do so. It helps the channel grow. I hope that this really benefited you or yours. And so if it did and you want to stick along for other videos in the future, make sure to subscribe down below. Turn the button from red to white and you'll be updated every single time that I upload a new video. Please ding the little notification bell so you don't miss any one of my uploads. And until the next time, guys, I will close off the video with the verse of the day. It is right over here. I hope that this verse touches your life in whatever way it is that God is trying to reach you with. I hope that it reveals something to you very important and that it harps the right string. Is that the expression? And so yeah, God bless you guys. I love you guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. And until the next one, guys, keep up the awesome, never change, and I'll see you guys next time. Dios los bendiga a todos. Keep crushing those goals. And until next time, MariaVicz.